Hey, welcome. Today we're going to take a journey into the most incredible, bustling factory you can possibly imagine. And get this factory exists inside every single one of your cells right now, building and running everything that makes you, well, you.
So let's just jump right in with a huge question. Have you ever wondered what the secret code is that tells your body how to grow, how to function, even what color your eyes should be? Well, today we're going to crack that code together. You see, at the very heart of this entire biological operation is one master rulebook. It's a fundamental concept that governs all of life, first figured out by the brilliant Francis Crick way back in 1958. It's called the central dogma. Now, I know, central dogma sounds super complicated, right? But the idea behind it is actually beautiful in its simplicity. It just describes the one-way street that information follows inside our tiny cellular factories. It's the master plan for turning a blueprint into a fully functioning machine. Okay, so let's break this core flow down. It's really just a three-step process. See? It all starts with the master blueprint, which is our DNA. Then, a working copy of those instructions gets made. That's RNA. And finally, that copy is used to build the finished product, proteins. That's it. DNA to RNA to protein. It's the essential rulebook for all life. All right, first stop on our tour, the head office of the cell. It's a place called the nucleus. Think of it like a high-security vault where the most important document in the entire factory is kept under lock and key. And that all-important document? That's your DNA. The best way to think about it is like a massive, ancient recipe book. But instead of recipes for cookies, it contains every single instruction for building and operating you. Everything from your hair color to how your body breaks down lunch, it's all in there, written in a special chemical code.
And the way this code is stored is in one of the most famous shapes in all of science, the double helix. The easiest way to picture it is as a twisted ladder. The two long sides of the ladder are made of something called a sugar phosphate backbone, but the really important parts are the rungs connecting them. That's where the instructions are actually written.
So get this, those rungs are made of just 4 chemical letters, A, T, C, and G. The specific order of these letters is what spells out the words and sentences in your genetic recipe book. And they follow one very strict, very important rule. A always pairs up with T, and C always pairs up with G. This perfect matching system is absolutely crucial for making perfect copies. Okay, so now we have a bit of a problem. That DNA recipe book, it's way too valuable to ever leave the safety of the nucleus. But the factory floor, where all the building actually happens, is outside the nucleus. So how in the world do the instructions get from the head office to the workers on the line? Well, that's where our trusty messenger RNA comes in. Think of RNA as a quick photocopy of just one specific recipe from that giant DNA book. A special enzyme goes into the nucleus, finds the exact gene it needs, which is just a small section of DNA, and makes a temporary copy. This whole process is called transcription. And that RNA copy is small and nimble enough to zip out of the nucleus and deliver the plans to the factory floor. Now, what's really cool is how RNA is perfectly designed for this messenger job. It has a few key differences from DNA. First, unlike the two-stranded DNA, RNA is just a single strand, much more mobile. It uses a slightly different type of sugar in its backbone. And here's the big one. Instead of the letter T, RNA uses a letter called U for uracil. It's like it's speaking a slightly different dialect, but it's one the factory workers understand perfectly. And we've made it. We're on the factory floor out in the main part of the cell. And here, these amazing molecular machines called ribosomes act like the construction crew. They grab that RNA photocopy, read the instructions line by line, and start assembling the final product. This building phase is called translation. So what are they building? They're building proteins. And this is the whole point. If DNA is the blueprint and RNA is the memo, then proteins are both the final product and the workers building it. They are the absolute workhorses of the cell. They do pretty much everything. Let's make this real with some examples you can actually see and touch. Some proteins are the builders. Things like keratin and collagen, those are proteins. They literally form the physical structure of your hair, your fingernails, and your skin. They're the bricks and mortar of you. Then you have proteins that act as your personal bodyguards. When you get sick, your immune system creates these incredibly specialized proteins called antibodies. Their whole job is to hunt down and neutralize invaders, like bacteria and viruses, to keep you healthy. Pretty cool, huh? And a third type of protein acts as a catalyst. Basically, they're the project managers that make things happen, and happen fast.
A perfect example is an enzyme in your saliva called amylase. The moment you take a bite of food, it's in there, starting to break things down. Without enzymes like this, all the chemical reactions your body needs to survive would just be way, way too slow.
Okay, so we've got the blueprint, the messenger, and the workers who build everything. But wait a minute. All this building, all this activity, it must take a ton of energy, right? So what's powering this non-stop factory?
The answer is this incredible little molecule called ATP. Honestly, the best way to think about ATP is as a tiny, rechargeable battery. It's the universal energy currency for pretty much all life on Earth. It's what pays the energy bills for everything your cells do.
So a molecule of ATP, and that stands for adenosine triphosphate, is like a fully charged battery. And that tri is the important part. It means it has 3 phosphate groups, which you can just imagine as 3 little power packs snapped onto it, just full of ready-to-use energy.
And this is where it gets really clever. When a cell needs to do some work like build a protein, it just pops one of those power packs off. This releases a burst of energy. The ATP now becomes ADP, adenosine diphosphate, because it only has 2 packs left. Then, when you eat food, your body uses the energy from that food to snap a third power pack back on, recharging the ATP back into a full ATP battery, ready to go all over again. So when you boil it all down, this whole incredible, complicated dance, from DNA to RNA, it's all about one thing: making proteins. Because as this quote says so perfectly, it's the proteins that do all the work. From the tiniest germ to the biggest whale, they're the essential machines that make life, well, possible. So why should you care about any of this? Why does it all matter? Because this is the process that allows your body to grow up, to heal a scraped knee, to fight off the flu. It's happening trillions of times, every single second, inside you right now. And by understanding this fundamental code, we can develop new medicines, treat genetic diseases, and even trace the history of where we all came from. You know, this simple flow of information is the foundation for every living thing we've ever found. It's a code we've really only just begun to truly read. And that leaves us with a pretty awe-inspiring question. As our ability to read and even rewrite this code gets better and better, what incredible new chapter in the story of life are we going to write next?